Good morning. Thank you everyone for coming today. My name is Chelsea Stanford and I am the Sergeant over the Criminal Investigations Division for Madison County Sheriff's Office. In 2021, I accepted the investigator's position here, and when taking that role, I accepted all open cases, whether they were active, inactive, or cold. And that is when I was introduced to the Baby Madison case. On September 17th, 2016, an abandoned suitcase was discovered at the edge of a pasture off of I-45, just north of Madisonville, Texas. Upon further inspection, skeletal remains were discovered inside a white garbage bag that was stowed inside that suitcase. Throughout the investigation, we've learned that the remains were of a girl just 2 to 5 years of age. She had long, thick, dark hair just past her shoulders. Her genetic makeup advised that she had ancestral ties to El Salvador as well as Nuevo Leon, Mexico. She wore this dress of the Mon Petit brand, sized 4T. This pink dress said "Follow Your Dreams" and it has butterflies on it. She wore a size 4 diaper and she had a feeding tube. So we know that at some point in time in her very short life, she required medical attention. This little girl who we've come to know as Baby Madison is still to this day unidentified. For the last few years, myself, other investigators of Madison County Sheriff's Office, the Texas Rangers, specifically Ranger Chris Cash, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, medical examiners, genealogists, forensic artists, anthropologists, and so many others have had a hand in the Baby Madison case. I cannot thank everyone enough for their assistance. It's heartbreaking enough to come across cases of unjustly disposed human remains, but this is of a little girl. This little girl depended on people. And at some point in time in her life, she saw medical professionals. Everyone that's had a hand in this case has the same unanswered questions and the same goals in mind. Who is Baby Madison? What events led to Baby Madison's unfortunate death? And we want to identify and bring justice to whoever horrendously disposed of Baby Madison in such a manner. As previously mentioned, there's been a number of different professionals who have assisted with this case in some way. And together we've learned many new details on the case, most of which we cannot disclose at this time in order to keep the integrity of this ongoing investigation. But what I can tell you today is this. Baby Madison's remains have been analyzed by additional forensic professionals, and new forensic assessments show Baby Madison may have not had micrognathia in life. Micrognathia is where the lower jaw is smaller than normal and is associated with many genetic syndromes and conditions. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children released a facial reconstruction photo in 2016 with micrognathia in mind. And today, we are releasing a new forensic reconstruction photo also created by NCMEC, which may better support Baby Madison's true likeness without that condition. Today, we are also asking for the public's help. Have you seen this child? Think back to the summer of 2016, maybe even before. Have you seen a little girl wearing a pink butterfly dress? Did she have a feeding tube? Did she have long dark hair just past her little shoulders? I believe that someone out there knows something. And if you have any information about her or who disposed of her remains, please call me at the Madison County Sheriff's Office here in Madisonville, Texas. That number is 936-348-2755. My direct extension is 322. Thank you again all for taking your time and being here today. Thank you to the Texas Rangers, Ranger Cash, and the FBI for all their assistance over the years. I truly believe that together we're going to solve Baby Madison's case.
Thank you, Sergeant Stanford. Thank you, Ranger Cash. And thank you all for being here. Good morning. My name is Charlie Wilkes. I am a supervisory special agent at FBI Houston's Bryan Resident Agency. It has been 8 years since Baby Madison's remains were found stuffed in a suitcase along I-45 near Madisonville, Texas. Although many years have passed, I can assure you that we at the FBI have not forgotten about baby Madison, and neither have our partners at Madison County Sheriff's Office or the Texas Rangers. Baby Madison is very much on our minds, and that's why we're here today. We need the public's help. We need your help. We need your help to find answers for baby Madison, specifically, who is baby Madison? That's our priority. That's the reason we're here this morning. We've been assisting Madison County Sheriff's Office and the Rangers since the inception of this case. We've provided investigative and analytical support. We've leveraged the FBI laboratory, the investigative genealogy program, analysis, evidence collection, running down leads, and we are standing by to provide any more assistance that they need till this case comes to a conclusion. We don't know how baby Madison died, and we don't know exactly when or where. I think it's important to note the fact that she was found on I-45, a major thoroughfare. It could have happened anywhere, and the body was simply disposed here in Madison County. So it's important for anybody who is watching this press release across the country, if anything we're saying today brings up memories of somebody or some kind of recollection, please reach out to the Madison County Sheriff's Office. Although we don't know when, where, or how she died, we do know that she did not deserve to be carelessly discarded in a suitcase on I-45. She was an innocent child. She was someone's daughter, someone's granddaughter, and likely somebody's niece or sister. She deserves the peace. She deserves answers. She deserves justice. And most importantly, she deserves the dignity of being properly identified and properly remembered. We're asking the public, please help us find answers. No piece of information is too small. Who is baby Madison? That's why we're here today. We ask that you take a good look at the photo, the new rendering from Nick Mick, and her shirt, and see if that brings up any memories or any recollection. And if anything comes to mind, please reach out directly to Madison County Sheriff's Office. They are the lead agency in this case. If you know who baby Madison might be, or who may have disposed of her body so carelessly, please call Sergeant Stanford at the Madison County Sheriff's Office at 936-348-2755, and her direct extension is 322. Thank you.
Anybody have any questions that they want to ask?
Sergeant, this seems like, I know you've been on this for quite some time, I know you have quite a bit of investment in this, but this still seems like it's really a gut-wrenching, emotional thing for you.
Absolutely. I'm a mother myself, and I drive past the place where she was disposed of every day on my way to work. I touch this case file personally weekly, and I think of her daily.
So I know that since this new evidence showing that she might not have had micronathia, that feeding tube that was found, do we have any idea who that might have belonged to?
We believe it did belong to her, but specifically the condition micronathia would not be an accurate diagnosis. She had to have some other form of medical condition to have her have a feeding tube.
Have y'all received a lot of tips over the years? I know that y'all were looking into Arizona. That might be where she, came from. Is that still a possibility?
Specifically Arizona, we eliminated those tips, but we have received hundreds of tips on this case. These tips have led us to every corner of the United States as well as other countries.
Any indication where she might be from if she's not from Arizona?
Her ancestral ties genetically are from El Salvador and Nuevo Leon, Mexico, but as far as where she was specifically raised, where she was specifically born, we don't know yet. That's where I need the public's help.
Will there be any changes to how the investigation proceeds from this point?
As far as, can you rephrase your question?
Will there be any changes to how the investigation proceeds from this point based on the photo?
We're hoping that the photo is going to mainly generate new and more leads, and we would like to have this pushed out again in every corner of the U.S. as well as other countries. And we take every lead seriously as if that lead is going to be the one that solves the case.
Sergeant, where is the child buried? Is it local?
The child is not buried yet. The child is currently still at the medical examiner's office.
Anything else?
Did we just learn that, her ties are from El Salvador and Mexico, or is there something that was always known?
always known from the beginning of the case, no. It's not brand new information. That was something that we kind of held close to our chest as long as we could to keep the integrity of the investigation. And I think we all agree that it's important to push that information out to help generate more leads.
How vital will a new picture be for this case?
The old photo is online. It's very different from this new one. I believe the new one's going to be vital. The old photo, we just stopped receiving leads on it, and maybe this little girl is a little bit more recognizable.
Is there an employee that remembers that day in specific?
There was, and we lost him earlier this year, unfortunately, but Senior Deputy John Kendon and I talked all the time. He was the original deputy that investigated this case. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us, but there are other employees at Madison County Sheriff's Office and at the District Attorney's Office that remember the day that her remains were found, and it's talked about constantly between all of us all the time.
Sergeant, can you recall exactly where on I-45, where she was found? Remember?
As far as mileage, that should be on your press release that you will get.
Gotcha, okay.
But it is going to be on the southbound side, just at a pasture edge.